There comes a moment in every person's life when they stop looking out there for answers and they start looking in here. That moment is called self-realization, and it changes everything. Today, we're deep diving into what truly means to realize yourself. Not the version the world told you to be, but the version you were born to be. You know, there's a topic out there called self-realization, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Sorry that I got some weird stuff with the glare, I think, in my glasses. I don't know how to get rid of it, but we're going to go ahead and record anyway. Self-realization. It's a term being used today, and basically what we're talking about is how do you go and get the most out of yourself? What potential's living within you that you can pull forward? And self-realization, so many people get it wrong. They think it's something that's out there that they can pull downward and get to them. Self-realization comes from inward out. It's what's already within you that you're afraid to or fearful of, or something stopping you from realizing it. Said differently, self-realization's the moment the noise fades and you become aware of who you are and what you're about. You know, and at this point, it's so important because with social media today and other things, self-realization really, you can tell when you begin to get there because you're not looking for validation. You're not comparing yourself anymore to someone else. You're not looking for someone's approval anymore. Now you're looking within. What's important to you? And you start discovering your inner truth, the truth of who you are, rather than what you think you should be. That's the difference between self-realization of actually realizing your power within and just living. Here's a question, because you might be confused with where you stand on this. Ask yourself this question. Am I living by design or by default? You know, most of the time people are living just reactively. They're responding to whatever life is happening to them. Here's something Tony Robbins teaches. Life happens for you, not to you. Think about that. You're not reacting to what's happening. You actually know from within what's happening. Life's happening for you, not to you. See, the big difference is when you start and actually become aware of your potential and you understand and now you're self-realized, you create life. You create opportunity. It's just not happening to you. It's happening for you. See that difference there? Interesting, isn't it? Someone who understands and has become self-realized knows that the world is a mirror of what they're thinking and projecting. And you can create the world that you want because it comes from within. Now, there's not to say there's a lot of things that are stopping you. So why isn't everyone at this level? Why can't everyone achieve self-realization? Well, so many don't, most don't, just part of it. And the reason is number one is fear. Fear. It could come from childhood. It could come from anywhere, but it's fear. Fear holds you back. The number one thing is fear. Right after that's guilt. And where does fear and guilt come from? All your past mistakes. What do you care about the past mistakes? They're in the past. Are you learning from them? Look forward. Live in the now and look forward. The past is over. You can't do anything about it. And here's another one. People live for other people's opinions. When you become self-realized, you don't care about other people's opinions because you know who you are. You have balance within yourself. You know what you stand for. Their opinions are going to be what they're going to be. So all of these things, fear, guilt, past mistakes, other people's opinions, we end up building these walls, and these walls are around us, and we can't see anything through these walls. And I call that field of vision. See, these walls that are there stop us from seeing what potential lies out there. And the reason why is these walls are created by us and we keep them there. Rather than having a higher field of vision, we keep it there. And if we're getting worse and more fearful, now we're only seeing this much. And the walls collapse on you. If you're feeling more guilty, you only can see that much. And see, the more and more you feel and are you reacting, the less what you can see is actually happening in life. Whereas if you look the opposite way, it just grows and opportunities everywhere. No matter what's happening, you're seeing opportunity. You're seeing a chance to create, that things are happening for you rather than to you. Now, that doesn't mean there's not challenges. That doesn't mean there isn't problems. No, that's not looking at it right. No, perfection or whatever dream world you want to come up with, that's not life. Life happens. Life is always going to happen. But how you look at it and what you create out of it can completely be controlled by you. And this is what I want to teach you right now. You know, I talked about those walls, and if you're more fearful, it just becomes thinner and thinner, and you can't see anything around you other than the fear. None of those walls are real. They're real to you, but they're not real because they're made up by what's in your head. Now, they feel very real and that there's no way out of it when you're in it, but it's because of what you're creating out of your mind. You haven't actually gotten to the point of realizing who you really are and become balanced with it. Thus, self-realization. And I look at it this way: is I have a whole podcast on meaning, owning meaning. Once you own the meaning of things, you can own your emotional reactions to things. And rather than saying things like, why did this happen to me? You say things like, what can I learn from this? Or what things now can I go forward and do better because this happened to me? The difference of woe is me, zero, and what can I learn from this is huge of the opportunity of the walls and how close they are to you. A really big piece of understanding self-realization comes from knowing who you are and have the confidence of understanding that. And self-reflection is very difficult because so many of us have what I call a fake reality. And it basically means you believe something within yourself that's just not true. You think you're good at something, or you think you can do something, and you're not. You think you're good with people, and you're not. You think you can sing, and you can't. You think you can dance, and you can't. Now, I'm not saying that if you can't sing all you want. Just know you can't. Be real. See, once you're real with yourself, that's beginning to be self-actual and start to realizing who you are and what you're about and the things you can work on to improve. Once you start doing this, you'll start noticing behaviors that show you you're on the right path. And what are those behaviors? The things that once triggered you emotionally, now you're learning from. You're learning from the things that used to trigger you. That's a really good sign. You feel at peace, even when things are very uncertain. You've done well if that's the case. You know, one of the things that happens once you have self-realization is you'll start noticing that you're not chasing things. You're attracting them to you because you no longer have any type of victim mindset and you're at peace and know who you are and what you're about. Really, it's realizing your power within. And once you do that, people are attracted to you rather than you chasing something. And that's a big difference in life. Imagine that. And this is a big one that I really hope everybody can get to is your self-worth isn't up for debate anymore. No one else can tell you. You can't tell you. No one else can tell you anything about your self-worth because you know what you're worth and you know for real who you are. There's no debate on it anymore. You're not going to question that shit anymore. You know who you are and you know you're good enough and you know you're strong enough and you know what you stand for. And that, my friends, is the power of waking up into who you truly are. So, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, what are some things that can help me step into this? What are some things that can help me get started on this journey? Because it's a tough one. Because if this is all you can see, I mean, you don't have much room there and you're stuck. So, what are the things that can do that can start to open your mind up? And getting into a morning routine would be number one. I mean, my opinion on this is you do a morning routine and you start with breath. It's just do some box breathing. Google that and having some deep breaths. And then after that, in the morning, your deep breaths are over. Maybe you did 5, maybe you did 30, whatever you're following, do it. Think about all the things you're grateful for and make that the first 5 minutes you do of every morning. That will change you more than about anything, but that's going to get you started on a nice path towards self-realization. Number 2, start to observe things without judgment. Let me explain that. When you see things, don't immediately think, "Oh, that jackass." No. When you see things, observe them and not have judgment. And if you want to, you can say things like, "Oh, maybe they're just having a bad day," or maybe something terrible has happened to them. Do things without judgment. And the more you do that, the more you further open up those walls. And lastly, I want you to be talking about what are the things you can do to redefining the meaning you give something. If you give something a meaning that it's not deserved, why? Or if you're giving something a meaning that's emotionally triggering you, why? Find out and understand and own the meaning you're giving something. Those are the 3 things you can do. It will make a drastic difference in your life. Here's something I want you all thinking about. Self-realization is not a destination. It's a continual effort. It just doesn't all of a sudden show up and you got it. You have to completely keep working on it. And how you do that is by the 3 things I told you about, number 1. But number 2 is make it a priority in your life. Don't just sit there and say, "I'm going to accept this of what's happening." Life happens for you, not to you. Remember, you don't have to become more. You just got to be you, authentically you. That's all I got, everyone. Thanks much. If you have questions, ask them. We'll get them answered.